The history of acupuncture medicine. There are many age-old medicines that have been used for thousands of years in the treatments of plenty of problems, many of these physical, but there are also emotional problems that can be cured with alternative therapies. One such therapy is called acupuncture, and many people believe that this is a fake therapy instituted in the Chinese culture in order to have more influence over Western society. Even though it is true that acupuncture has had a great influence over Western society and America in general, the myth of how it got started is completely false. If you truly do not know how acupuncture got its start, then here are a few pieces of information that one should know about in order to believe that acupuncture is a real therapy. Acupuncture was used thousands of years ago. In an attempt to debunk any myths or disbeliefs within the field of acupuncture, this therapy was actually instituted very many centuries ago in the ancient Chinese civilizations. Many Chinese professors and medical doctors who regularly speak on the issue of acupuncture generally concur that acupuncture was instituted by the Chinese because they had no real forms of medicine. There was no such thing as chloroform in ancient Chinese civilizations, and there were also no other real medicine treatments of any kind, except for the ones that they found and kept for themselves. What sicknesses did acupuncture originally cure? The Chinese actually used acupuncture therapy to cure everything from the common cold and headaches all the way to mysterious diseases that seemed to take over the body. There is no one long list of sicknesses and illnesses that acupuncture was responsible for curing, but acupuncture therapy was generally called upon and used to treat virtually every type of disease and ailment that came along. Already mentioned was the fact that acupuncture therapy was used to treat the common cold and headaches, but some of the other diseases that could easily have been cured with acupuncture when it first got started include such things as constipation, arthritis, earaches, toothaches, as well as upset stomachs. All of these things were naturally experienced by the ancient Chinese as well as other humans throughout the world, which leads many people to believe that they were also naturally cured through the use of acupuncture. How did acupuncture spread? There are many theories as to how the introduction of acupuncture was brought to other countries throughout the world. However, as the spread of the news that acupuncture truly was a good form of therapy spread around the world, naturally there were individuals who were responsible for the introduction and teaching of the methods. In the United States, though, acupuncture has not been practiced in real widespread areas until just recently, but the benefit that acupuncture has brought to the United States has been so great throughout its time here. All things considered, the history of acupuncture therapy has truly been an amazing feat that many people have called the miracle therapy that fixes everything. Even though the Chinese know that acupuncture truly can heal all wounds, though, there still are some skeptics who have their own doubts about acupuncture therapy. The basics of acupuncture. There are many people who are either fascinated with ancient medicine methods, alternative therapies, or even those who want to learn about other cultures. In addition, non-Western medicine approaches and other techniques are also a major interest to many people. Fortunately, acupuncture therapy falls under all of these categories, and there is much to be learned from this ancient medicinal technique. The ancient Chinese civilization started using acupuncture when there was any physical or mental ailment that needed to be cured. There are all sorts of reasons why this ancient method was also moved from the Middle East where it originated, but a whole plethora of countries have definitely benefited from it. Nevertheless, there will always be those people who are fascinated with the basics and fundamentals of acupuncture. In reality, acupuncture truly is an amazing therapy. For starters, acupuncture isn't like any other therapy because it doesn't involve anything that any other traditional Western therapies involve. For example, some traditional Western therapies involve focusing on an individual's interactions with the environment and other people. However, acupuncture deals with the person and the body itself, including bringing the state of the body back to equilibrium where it belongs. What does acupuncture believe? Just as there are a great number, and growing, too, of people who are fascinated with what acupuncture is, those people are the same individuals that need to realize that acupuncture is truly a belief system. In other words, acupuncture just simply isn't a therapy technique that requires a person to undergo needles in their skin and that's it. On the contrary, acupuncture is a whole belief system that entails beliefs about the body and the whole healing process. For starters, when it comes to acupuncture, the Chinese believed that there was one basic source in the body that was responsible for the whole body's energy source. This energy source is called the Qi, and this spot in the body is also responsible for any type of pain that is felt. Knowing all this, however, enables a person to also know that in order to stop pain from being felt, then those spots on the bodies must be removed. Thankfully, the Chinese culture figured out that there were pathways that run along the Qi line. In order to combat any number of illnesses and diseases, one has to undergo the process of having needles placed in the skin in order for those pressure points on the body to help the process of healing. The science of acupuncture. Even though acupuncture is not an exact science, more doctors and alternative therapy practitioners in the West are using acupuncture as a reference point and study guide to look at the practices of alternative therapies in a different light. Perhaps the reason that traditional Western medicine doesn't embrace acupuncture as much as the Chinese does is because there are no hard facts to go off of. But those who don't practice it also don't realize what they're missing out on. When it comes right down to it, thought acupuncture is not only amazing, but it's also a therapy that everyone should be grateful for. All about acupuncture. Whether you are truly interested in the Chinese culture and the acupuncture therapy as just one more facet of why the Chinese culture can be beneficial to us in the West, or whether you truly want to learn how to perform the art of acupuncture, there is plenty to learn about this therapy that has been claimed to save lives through the medication process that it involved. The first thing that one has to realize about this acupuncture therapy, though, is not only how it got its start in the United States and in the Chinese culture, but also the many benefits and uses that acupuncture can have on the many diseases that are prevalent all over the world. Why was acupuncture started? Even though there is no definite answer on the question, there are definitely many theories as to why acupuncture was started in the Chinese culture. In fact, acupuncture was started so long ago in ancient Chinese civilization that there are some who claim that the therapy has simply been handed down from generation to generation in an attempt to give the Chinese culture a great contribution to the cures that can have a profound effect on all of mankind. How does acupuncture work? There are many ways in which acupuncture can work on the body, but there is generally only one theory that comes from the Chinese culture that will be able to give a glimpse into how the therapy is successful. First, there are points on the body called acupoints that are also commonly called pressure points by those in Western society. Whatever these points are called, though, the Chinese civilizations believed that these points were the ones responsible for giving them all the pain that they feel day in and day out. The theory has to be a little bit right, at least, though, most likely, because when acupuncture is performed on these acupoints throughout the body, what happens most of the time is that the symptoms of the disease or ailment that one is trying to cure really does clear up quickly. Even though there have been plenty of people in the Chinese culture who try to convince those in America that acupuncture is the only way to go in treating all sorts of illnesses and diseases, there are plenty of people in the United States medical field who not only disbelieve that acupuncture works by calling on the theory of the placebo effect, but also continue to do nothing about further research into the issue. However, there have been plenty of independent studies along the way that continue to show how beneficial the therapy of acupuncture can be in everyone's life. In order to make acupuncture popular in the United States, though, there definitely has to be more that's done rather than simply research into the issue. More professionals in the medical field need to stand up for what they know truly works in the acupuncture theory, and these are the people that need to introduce and teach acupuncture in medical settings all across the country. By many people's feelings, this is the only way that acupuncture truly will flourish inside the United States. But once this happens, more people will be willing and ready to learn as well as to use the acupuncture therapy in his or her own life. How acupuncture can change you. The Qi is what acupuncture is all about. Okay, so there is more to acupuncture therapy than simply muttering the word Qi, but the concept of it does have a great deal, if not all, to do with the therapy of the acupuncture way. Ancient Chinese cultures did believe that the Qi was found in the body to be the sole energy source in the body, and there were also different energy paths and lines that ran across this Qi. Anytime anyone experiences pain, it is usually believed that the Qi is responsible. By placing plenty of needles along the most precious spots along the paths to the Qi, many people in Chinese cultures believe that acupuncture can truly change the body's perception and response to what is going on inside it and around it. The acupuncture way of life. One way that acupuncture is supposed to change you, though, if you truly believe in the therapy, is that your whole life will change instantly. Instead of acupuncture being only a form of therapy that you treat yourself to whenever you're sick, many people and Chinese professionals in the art and therapy of acupuncture believe that it should truly change your way of life. Instead of looking upon acupuncture as simply a treatment remedy, the whole idea of the therapy should change your life in the way that you go about your job, attend to your family, and even drive down the highway. Just as yoga is meant to teach patience and meditation, so too is acupuncture also believed to instill the practice of relaxation in the body. However, this relaxation technique does need fostering, and there are many people who continue to relax themselves every day, long after they receive acupuncture treatments. Belief can change everything. There are still others throughout the acupuncture culture who contend that one must actually believe in the therapy for it to start to take effect. Even though this aspect of believing in the art of acupuncture does go along with your way of life, believing in the therapy is certainly the building blocks for letting your trust in the therapy take over. There are many people who already believe ideas about themselves and the world without actually seeing them. Take into consideration that God exists, heaven and hell are real, and the Bible or other book of faith is absolute truth. All of these things are rarely able to be seen, but they are still believed. On the other hand, there are still some people who see the positive effects of acupuncture, yet they still do not believe in the therapy. Belief in the system of acupuncture has a great deal to do with whether or not it will work for you. All in all, though, there are many opponents as well as defenders of the great art and therapy of acupuncture. Many people are on one side of the fence insisting that acupuncture is fake, while those on the opposite side of the fence insist on that the ancient Chinese knew what they were doing when they founded the idea and treatment of acupuncture. In the end, though, it all comes down to personal belief and whether or not one has enough faith in the system to let him or her truly experience the benefit of acupuncture. But while trying to decide whether or not the whole therapy is real, though, just remember that thousands of people have already been cured by the system, and one should try it out before rejecting the whole idea. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment down below, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.